It is somehow already the beginning of May, and I am so sorry for dropping the ball in April. I had all kinds of tech problems going on, and I actually got so obsessed with my Etsy shops that I did not drop any new podcasts, even though I had a couple of them recorded and edited and ready to go. So I am probably going to post-date those so that if you want to listen to them, you can get some of the tips and tricks that I was going to share with you for the end of March and the beginning of April. But if you forgive me for all that and you stick with me today, I will walk you through exactly what I am going to be designing for through the month of May, June, and into July. Hey, it's Rebecca Boland. Welcome back to Etsy and Ecom with the Professional Mom. If you are new here, a big hello. I am a mom of 2 toddler boys. I left the corporate finance world when I had them, and I have been home trying to learn diversified income streams online by myself as a solopreneur and aiming to achieve financial freedom so that I maintain flexibility even as my children get older. Even though I now have 5 Etsy shops, they have all been very different strategies, very different niches, and very different products. I am not someone who is claiming to be a 6-figure Etsy seller yet, and I know that I like to learn all of the bits and pieces and then let my shiny object syndrome get the best of me right as I'm starting to do well before I really let my shops take off. So, of course, I've had a couple of digital product shops that started doing well and make me daily sales and essentially pay for, maybe my lunch or the family's dinner once in a while, but nothing huge to write home about. However, if you start doing that in 2 or 3 different shops and it's happening every day, it does begin to add up. And I will start talking about those in future episodes. But I am right now in the very beginning stages of teaching myself print on demand with Etsy. And that's really why I started this whole podcast. So if any of you out there have stumbled onto this and you just want to learn from someone or even alongside someone who's about where you are, then this is exactly right for you. I know there are some brilliant minds online on YouTube and on podcasts that are sharing all of their experience, invaluable experience with us in lessons that we can learn and pick up. But I also know that sometimes it can be a little overwhelming or intimidating to know that you are so far from that part of the process that it almost seems like a stretch. It almost demotivates you to jump in. So if you are somebody who has just started print on demand in 2024 or 2025, and you're wondering if it's still viable, you're wondering if it really is only for those gurus who started early or those few people who somehow have their foot in a door in a special way, then honestly, subscribe to this podcast and connect with me. Let's talk, because I am happy to be as transparent as I can with you to give you the confidence and skills you need to know that this is possible for you and I both. All those pleasantries out of the way, let's go ahead and jump in to talking about what we should be looking to make in the month of May and looking ahead to June and July. Typically, especially when we're talking about print-on-demand products, we want to be creating 8, 10, maybe even 12 weeks in advance of the holiday or the specific occasion that you are trying to take advantage of. I've heard that 8 weeks is kind of this prime opportunity time where buyers are starting to shop around a little bit early, or maybe you can be selling to other sellers. Like if you sell SVG or PNG designs, then sellers may want to buy those to make sure their physical products are launched in time. But ultimately, you need to give Etsy enough time to pick up on your new products, pick up on the listings and the keywords, and figure out exactly who to put them in front of for the right customer. Well, if the customer volume is starting to pick up as you are putting the right product in front of them, it gives you this little extra edge to potentially have higher visibility for the upcoming season. It also, of course, never hurts to be a first mover in a new trend. So if you have done a good job trend combining and putting something super new and flashy on something for the upcoming holiday, and you're the first to market with it, then you get this first mover advantage. Plus, if you are a little newer and maybe you're slower at design or you're not sure about the trends that are popping up, you want to give yourself that extra 8-week, 10-week buffer so that you have time to be thoughtful about what you're putting on your shop front. So looking ahead in May, we of course have Mother's Day right around the corner. I would say it's too late to be designing and listing new products for Mother's Day. Now, if you still have some that you've already made, but you just never clicked publish, go ahead and get them published because you really never know. And if they're mom gifts, they could still potentially sell year round. But if you haven't created new designs, if you haven't actually put together listings for Mother's Day, let's go ahead and look past that. Don't forget to go shopping for her and maybe give her a call or take her to lunch if your mom is nearby. But from an Etsy design perspective, we want to look past that. So if we're talking about an 8-week average, I really should just jump ahead and skip outside of May altogether, and even honestly mostly past June. But there are some opportunities, and again, 8 weeks is just kind of that general guideline that a lot of Etsy experts who do well and know what they're talking about suggest to us. So why try to create our own strategy when there are pros telling us what works? So at the end of May, we do have Memorial Day in the US. And whether you're familiar with Memorial Day or not, I did want to touch on this just because I want to share a little bit of caution around designing for the holiday, but also bring to light opportunities that might be available to you depending on if it fits your niche. So Memorial Day is a federal holiday in the US, and it honors fallen soldiers that were in any of the armed forces. It is always observed on the last Monday in May, and it typically comes with a true federal holiday where there is the day off from works and schools, banks are closed, and it's also kind of regarded as the official beginning of summer in the US. It's the time that I've seen local pools open, or maybe the restaurants by the lakes start opening here in the South. But with that said, I do want you to be aware that the meaning of the holiday is deeper and a little heavier than potentially we always give it credit for, especially in the retail side of things when you start seeing Memorial Day weekend sales and this lead into summer bash and pool season toys and floaties and apparel. So in terms of being maybe a respectful seller, it is something that we might want to have a little bit of cultural awareness towards, and be cautious about trying to take advantage of it or any Memorial Day sales you might have been planning for. Just make sure that the tone of any of your marketing or any of your product launches makes sense or aligns with a respect. No matter where you fall on the political spectrum, it's not a political discussion, it's just a respect-based thing. That said, if you do have meaningful, sentimental, memorial-related products that does connect with this market, it could be an opportunity for you to add value by personalizing profound, meaningful gifts for somebody or families that have lost a soldier in the military. Now, after Memorial Day, when we do get into June and we are looking a little further out, closer to that 6-week time frame that we want to start designing for, we have Father's Day coming up on June 15th. And of course, Father's Day is a huge sales opportunity. And whether you are in print on demand or handmade or even digital products, there is no limit on what could be sold or positioned as a Father's Day gift. If you can personalize anything, if you can customize anything, if you have anything to sell that relates to hobbies that dads are interested in any way, whether that means you sell golf gear or you can put hiking on a t-shirt or you can embroider a hat, there has got to be a way that something you sell could be marketed and positioned for Father's Day. So think about how you can expand your product line right now, or even just change some of your keywords, tags, titles, or photos to reposition items to make them more unique and appealing to the people shopping for Father's Day. So think about the wives that are going to be shopping for their husbands. Think about the kids who will be shopping for their dads or maybe even their grandfathers. And think about different types of dads that you could potentially pull in. So maybe there is a stepdad. Maybe there's a bonus dad. Maybe somebody uses a unique name for dad. So instead of dad, it's somebody who is a father figure, or somebody who calls him papa or refers to him in a different language. Don't pigeonhole yourself into only looking at dad titles on products, and look beyond putting just Happy Father's Day onto products. Think about what somebody would want to gift on Father's Day, but then use year round. The same week as Father's Day, we have Juneteenth on June 19th, and this is another federal holiday in the United States that commemorates the ending of slavery in the U.S. Similarly to Memorial Day, this is a meaningful federal holiday, and any sales you advertise or new products you launch, make sure that it falls into a respectfully, culturally appropriate, and meaningful addition to your customers. Now, those are the specific holidays that are coming up in June. But for those of you not aware, or those of you who are newer to retail and designing by seasonality and events coming up, June, the entire month of June, is also Pride Month, which is observed, dedicated to celebrating LGBTQ pride, and there are parades, there are rainbow themes everywhere, and it is often celebrated with allies even outside of that community. So whether you define yourself in that community or not, it is essentially a very cheerful and very colorful, literally, way to show pride for whoever you are inside and out throughout the month. So this, I say colorful literally because if you're not aware, the rainbow flag is the symbol that is used everywhere, especially during Pride Month. And it does typically relate to LGBTQ community, the rainbow flag. But it, of course, can be used in all types of shirts and designs. And in retail, I've seen it used a lot when we just talk about even more general love is love type concepts. So it doesn't even have to be specifically niched down. It can be a bigger meaning for loving everybody for who they are inside and out. And there are a lot of unique ways that you can really position whatever products you have in the market if this fits within your niche as well. Again, just like the other holidays and events that I've touched on, if you're not familiar or you're not sure exactly what you could or couldn't say, should or shouldn't say, then don't feel obligated to design for something just because it is coming up on the calendar. Find what you are comfortable with, what you're familiar with, and what you know that you could respectfully add value to, and then put it out in the market. Finally, with all that said, if we are actually talking about what is truly 8 weeks out and is really 100% at the ideal time to be designing and launching for, we are at Independence Day. So the 4th of July, if you're in the United States, and the 1st of July for Canadians are both considered Independence Day. And I can't claim to know exactly how Canada celebrates, but I know that in the US that there will be an influx of customers searching for all things red, white, and blue, and typically a lot to do with outdoors, beaches, barbecues, big parties, pool parties, fireworks, all things fun and festive. Now, one of my print-on-demand shops that I've told you about before is one that falls into the beachy, fun niches, and the 4th of July is going to be a really good fit. So my strategy within the next 8 weeks is, or at least really in the next week or two, is to really buckle down and try to hit the 4th of July as hard as I can. And I will continue to design some more for Father's Day. I think maybe just till the end of this week. So maybe I'll give myself a week to really hone in on Father's Day, get the products I can out there, and then look ahead to the 4th of July, potentially finding some opportunities that are, all-American dad, and maybe still pitch them for Father's Day and let them roll into 4th of July. I think that could be a good opportunity to get new products out and seen, and even if they're a little late or a little behind the 8 ball for the Father's Day market, maybe they could still pick up for 4th of July. Within the rest of July, I really don't know of any holidays off the top of my head, though I'm sure there's some occasions that I can pull together for a future video. But with an entire month of June dedicated to certain celebrations, with some very meaningful, respectful holidays within the month of May and June, and with the seasonality of May. So let me talk about that real quick with the graduations from high schools, colleges, doctoral candidates, even from elementary schools or pre-Ks. Graduation season is in full effect and is doing really well for a lot of sellers. And a quick teaser plug, make sure you subscribe to this podcast because my next episode is going to tell you exactly which item has suddenly spiked my sales in my second print-on-demand shop. But of course, with graduations and all of the gifting to the actual graduates, you also have a new slew of teachers that are going on teacher mode or on vacation mode and want last day of school shirts. And you'll have a whole bunch of opportunities in the summer to create group shirts, matching shirts, vacation, family vacations, cruises, road trips, camping trips, bachelorettes, and summer weddings, summer brides. So even though they are not specific holidays and specific dates on the calendar, there is still a lot of opportunity to make sure to capture when you are feeling like things are slow in your shop. Listen, I know people get frustrated over a summer sales slump, but I have found so many things online that I've been just so deep in the weeds with that I am actually a little bit excited that it's summer coming up, because even though my sales in my shops are now starting to do well and I'm starting to see the fruits of my early labor the first few months, I am really excited to try to learn some other opportunities, including some new automation tools that have come out, some new softwares, and of course, some personalization that I can tie in to really stand out in the market. So again, if you are new here, thank you so much for joining me and welcome. I will leave my contact information in the show notes below and feel free to say hi. And honestly, if you were listening to this, I would love to know what is your favorite way to connect with people. So if you are an avid podcast listener or YouTube watcher, if you wanted to talk to the person on the other end of that video, how would you do it? Do you just leave comments? Do you like to be in a Facebook group? Do you like to find them on Instagram? Personally, I admit all the time I am not super great with social media right now, but I really would love to have a community that talks back with me as opposed to me just talking at my microphone by myself in the kitchen here. So if I get some emails or some feedback that everybody kind of starts to lean towards one way or another, I would love to have a small and engaged community of people that are happy to give direct feedback with each other and kind of support our small wins along the way. So again, find my contact information, either my email or my Instagram in the show notes below. And please subscribe if you liked this, if you found it helpful. And that way you will not miss my future episodes, which I promise will be consistent. Until next time, goodbye.